Shalom, Habarim, greetings and welcome. We're reporting on the subject of self-mastery, and this is going to have three parts here. We're going to, first of all, identify the cycles of life that we're in right now to, establish our actual current real-time position and identify what life cycles we are in so as to know exactly where we stand within the perfectly systematically programmed or cyclical system of life in the cycles of life, alive, right? And then I'm going to share some information about the importance of and the benefits of actually, basically, wisely, scientifically experimenting, let's say in the field of life, okay? And then accurately, wisely, intelligently analyzing the scientific data, basically what happened, and how when you reflect at certain times, also in the evening, you will get additional knowledge and wisdom from a divine source, from the Creator, from God within, from the cosmic mind, so to say, right? And how we then gain both additional wisdom and absolutely accurate, real, wisdom and working knowledge about how everything in life really works in our earth, human, and life activity environment in this heavens and earth plane system, and all the details, and how we are gaining more and more wisdom about this, to the point where then we become technically capable of actually basically technically foreseeing the future based on having wisdom and knowledge of the life cycles that we're in and the ones that are coming up, and how the different life cycles and the divine providential programming and packaging works in these different life cycles, and therefore how things will actually happen and work out in real life based on what it is the time for. Okay, now this is true. And also, moreover, though, how we can become more proficient at making the future a certain way, right? Because that is really good in accordance with the good divine destiny, what is divinely commanded and recommended and not forbidden, okay? So look, here's the thing, okay? You have got, first of all, the first step to self-mastery, right? To be actually technically capable, right? And proficient in mastering your life and your destiny, folks, is you have to identify the life cycles you are in right now as accurately as possible. If you do this, it's like having an overview of what is actually really going on in the complete and total universe and your divine human life experience right now, as it is in any way, shape, or form relevant, whether visible or invisible, etc., right? So the thing is that, first of all, we are always in about, so generally, 9 different cycles of life that are relevant, that are most relevant right now at any given point in time. So I'm going to quickly summarize these and then going to review them for myself, and so should you when you're watching this. And I'll explain how, and there's a lot of information that is really good, that is really golden here. And it's also additionally very simply, shall we say, and easily intelligibly presented in the form of a book that can also be used as an instructions manual for self-mastery. And that is a book called Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life by H. Spencer Lewis. Rest in peace. Now, listen, the link will be in the description. God willing, no vows. Okay. So the thing is, look, first of all, we have to actually identify the life cycles we're in right now. So how do we do this? Okay. First of all, there's a certain amount of knowledge and like technical information and data that's true. Wow. That is so true. That is in the book that I mentioned, Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life. Okay. Then there's data from, let's say, the regular calendar and including the dates of the new moon and the full moon. And there's data from tide charts. And there will be the utilization of a tide chart from the nearest maritime port to where you're operating. Wherever you're operating, right, wisely and legitimately, right, scientifically, practically applying wisdom in your life for the highest good, hopefully, you will utilize the tide chart from the nearest maritime location, whether that's 1,000 miles away or it's 500 feet in front of your door, okay? You use a tide chart from the nearest maritime port. And you also use the winter time calculation of time. So, see this? What is it? It's 6:03.5 p.m., 6:04 p.m., shall we say. On a, what is it, Wednesday today? Okay. So we're using the winter time, and you must use the winter time calculation of time, dear guests, friends, visitors, all the time. It does not matter if this thing of summertime is being utilized by some, because it creates an artificial condition that's actually technically dangerous. It's like having the difference between an empty and a full gas tank, in a small passenger plane or something like that. It's ridiculous. So avoid using the summertime calculation. It's artificial and it's not true. You have to use a wintertime calculation. If you do this, you have the actual time all the time, even in the summertime. I emphasize this point because it's crucial. An hour plus minus in creation and in the perfect systematic nature of nature's, wisely, perfectly geometrized, created universe makes a huge difference. Hello? 1 hour plus minus. You've got daily periods of the cycles of life that are 3 hours and 25 minutes in length, and an hour plus minus, you have to be exactly on point and know exactly what time it is. It's crucial. Okay, listen. Dear friends, guests, visitors, and family members. Here's the thing, okay? First of all, now these 2 points haven't been emphasized here. We have to actually identify, clearly comprehend, right? See clearly what our actual real-time position within the cycles of life is right now. Okay, so to do that, like I said, first of all, winter time of the day, 6:06 p.m. now on the 13th of August, 2025. Okay, first of all, and now we're going to look at these 9 different life cycles for a second. First of all, right, there are 9 different cycles of life. Now, there is basically, let's go from short to long. First of all, you have the daily period of the cycles of life that's 3 hours and 25 minutes in length. There are 7 of those a day. They go and they're classified from A to G. They're all particularly good for certain things and vice versa. It just works like that. Just get an overview of the information I'm presenting here, and then you can, slowly and accurately research all the details in the book later. Just watch and learn, okay? So the thing is, you've got the daily periods of the cycles of life of 3 hours, 25 minutes. That's the first cycle to be regarded, using the winter time calculation of time, like time and date, right? Then you've got the 3-hour short lunar unit that alternates between essentially negative and positive, okay? Then you've got the 3.5-day long lunar unit that alternates between negative and positive. Then you've got the 52-day annual life cycle period, whereof there are 7 in your annual life cycle, your annual cycle of life that always starts on your birthday and goes for about 365 days, divided into 7 segments of 52 days, approximately. So there's a 52-day annual life cycle period, right, that has to be identified. Then you've got the simple, so wait a minute, that annual life cycle period of 52 days, where if there are 7, and that makes a 365-day, annual life cycle period that always starts on your birthday. There are in that annual life cycle period, there is both the personal, the health, and also the business life cycle that you're in right now. Okay, then you've got the simple overall period of human life ranging from 0 to 144 years. Okay, and in that span from 0 to 144, there are groups of 7 years. For example, I happen to be in the 6th simple overall period of human life because I'm between the age of 35 and 42, right? Okay, and then you have your soul personality, identifiable and intelligible to you by the date of your birthday, and all of this in addition is described in the book. So once again, let's just quickly summarize this. You've got 9 different cycles of life that are most relevant and most important, that you should monitor and watch and comprehend and wisely utilize to your divinely commanded good advantage. And those are basically 9 different ones. So that's the daily period of the cycles of life, then the lunar short unit of 3 hours that alternates between negative and positive. Then it's the 3.5-day long lunar unit that alternates between negative and positive. Then it's the 52-day annual life cycle period that you may be in right now, that includes both the health, personal, and business life cycle, right? Then you've got the simple overall period of human life, and then you've got your soul personality. So there's 9 different cycles of life. Now, I know, as per real scientific data and knowledge and real wisdom, I know all of those right now, essentially, okay? Because I'm going to explain now, and here's how you figure it out now as to where and like what life cycles I'm in. So first of all, now I'm doing it, right? So it's 6:11 p.m. right now on a Wednesday. The daily period of the cycles of life is a G period. Okay. I know what that's good for. I know what it's not good for. I'm engaged with what is good for. I'll explain later why this is important. It's like saying make hay when the sun shines. It's the same idea there. Okay, so we got the daily period of the cycles of life identified. Then you've got the short lunar unit of 3 hours, right? The short lunar unit of 3 hours is currently in a negative state for about another hour and a half. And then it goes into a 3-hour positive short state. And then we have a high tide. And then it peaks at that high tide. So here's the thing, okay, really quickly. 3 hours before a high tide, it's a positive short lunar unit. Okay? And since it's about 5 hours away or so, we're still in a negative 3 hour short lunar unit. Now, it's a 3.5 day positive long lunar unit right now, as we speak here, having started yesterday evening at shortly before 10 p.m. That's going to go on for another 3.5 days. So we've got a negative short lunar unit for another hour and a half, plus a 3.5 day positive long lunar unit right now. That makes for a neutral lunar unit for about the next hour and a half. And then this will change again. This is why we highly recommend that you actually monitor, watch, intelligently comprehend, have a sufficient overview and knowledge of the cycles of life that you're in every 3 hours during the day, because that's when the shortest one changes. So there's always, you got to monitor things like a chief navigational officer, right? Or just a legit navigator. You have to monitor and watch, and right, so you know exactly where you are. Okay, you can operate with maximum power. Okay. Now the thing is, so it's a negative short lunar unit for another hour and a half, about another hour and a half, and it's a positive 3.5 day long lunar unit right now. Okay. So that's a neutral for the next hour and a half. Now, why do I say a neutral for the next hour and a half? Essentially what's going on, I'll quickly summarize, is that for another hour and a half right now, in this region of the world, based on the scientific data from a tide chart that's based on what's going on at the ocean, 250 clicks south of here, I know that for the next hour and a half, the energetic state that the Earth, human and life activity is in around me in this part of the world is in a neutral state. Neutral. Neither masculine, energetically masculine, life-giving, increasingly active, nor energetically feminine and resting. It's neutral. It's interesting. Okay. Okay, so now this is like knowing, okay, the way things are energetically pitched right now, or how things are programmed, is in a state of neutrality. So like, yeah, that should suffice. Okay, there's more to this, there's more details about this, and this is an important subject because based on knowing what energetic state the Earth, human, and life activity in the world and the universe around you is in, you can predict the reaction to an action based on knowing what energetic state the universe is in around you, by and how and through things are generally classified into yes, no, negative, positive, right? Increase, decrease, etc., right? Okay, that's a long story. There's other times for that. Look, right now though, the next thing, all right, is a 52-day annual life cycle period, the annual life cycle. So we just checked the daily period, the short lunar unit, the long lunar unit. And now you've got the 52-day annual life cycle period. I know what one I'm in, I know what it's good for, and I know what it's not good for. And I'm occupied with, creatively working with, what it is good for, right? And once again, therefore, it's prosperous, right? Because what I'm doing is like that, what it is divinely ordained for right now. Almost like sailing fast when there's a lot of wind in your sails, because that's how it works then, versus trying to sail fast when there's no wind. Like, you get the idea? Okay. So I'll explain this, perhaps I'll explain this later. It's based on, all right, hold on. It's got the annual life cycle period now, and then we've got, that includes a health, personal, and business life cycle. Okay, I've got that on my mind, right? That's why I'm out here right now doing this. It's like I'm occupied with the right things at the right time. Okay. Now, then you've got the simple overall period of human life. I know what that is good for, and it explains to me why everything is the way it is right now, basically, also. And then I've got my soul personality to monitor, right? So the soul personality, that's based on your birthday. It describes you as a person, your strengths, what you're good at, what you should work on and gain with and like improve, what you'll be divinely, supported and predestined to be prosperous with and all that, and what you should avoid, sort of. Okay. So then, we've got this overview of these 9 different cycles of life by now. But see, listen, that's the first step to self-mastery, is identifying your actual real-time position within the cycles of life to begin with. Because first of all, you have to know where you stand before you can go anywhere safely, right? It's sort of like that. So now, that having been said, okay, now, so the second part of this, and we're getting into the second part of this presentation now, and that is this. It is the following. It is that, okay, now look, see, what we have, right, is like a map. We have like a timetable, like a schedule. Okay, we have scientific data, real hard evidence, right, in the form of books and even calendars and maps that we make using wisdom, right? Like, see, now I'd like to be in the office to show you these documents. Okay, the thing is that I'm out in the field. So picture for a second in front of you, on your desk, right, you've got a journal with empty blank pages and a ruler and a pencil and a pen and an eraser, and you've got a calendar, you've got a tide chart from the nearest maritime location, you've got, what's it called? A watch, time-telling device that's accurate. Okay, so then what you do is, like the same thing we just did, where you identify what ones, so you identify the 9 different cycles of life that you're in right now. And now, here's the thing, you'll have a calendar page, okay? And this calendar page, you have to make it yourself, because there's no calendar in existence that has a format or that includes the information that that we have to have, except if we make it ourselves, basically, even just by the page layout and the format. So a blank piece of paper, let's say letter size, you've got a ruler, a pencil, and a pen and an eraser. There's a small area at the top where you've got the tides marked out, what hours both of them are high that day and when they're low that day, basically, right? When are the high tides? What time? 3 hours before and till, right? Then you've got, the next new moon or full moon identified by date when it's coming up. You've got the annual life cycle period written up there, the day, the time, the date, right? You've got the lunar unit, the long one of 3.5 days identified, whether you're in a positive or negative, and all this is written on a calendar page. And then you've got the daily periods in mind for that day too. This simplifies everything, right? It's like having a calendar page for every day that shows you exactly what is going on that day. What life cycles are happening at what times. What time the high tides are, what time the low tides are, right? Like I said, I do have a video about this. It's actually in the channel, and it should be something like hashtag self-mastery, hashtag mapping, hashtag cycles of life, something like that. You should be able to find it. Okay, just listen in. So I've got a calendar, right? I've got this map, right, through this calendar that I made myself. It's like I've got a map, right? And it shows me for however long and how accurate, and be sure this is accurate, double check it and triple check it. It's showing me the future. It's showing me what is predestined to happen, and also I can make certain things happen moreover, make certain things happen and make the future a certain way based on knowing what is possible at what times. There we go. So now look, you're going through life with, and generally speaking, with scientific data and real knowledge, right, and real wisdom on the one hand, right, actually in both hands, yet on the one hand you've got this scientific data and this knowledge, almost like having a report that shows you how the weather is going to be for that day or the next 3 days, really super accurately. And then so you know in advance, okay, I can go and do this, then this is going to work, and this is going to be supported by these, this and that factor and so on. But see, it's one thing to have the theoretical, technical knowledge and the wisdom and the data and like a timetable and a schedule and information. And it's another thing, and it goes hand in hand, it's another thing to have, so now we go out in the field with this information, right? I know, like right now, I'm out here, I know for another hour, 15, it's a negative lunar unit, neutral. I know so I know what to expect, what to do, what not to, right? Okay. So it's like you go out into the field of life. You go start your day happily, right? You work, you operate, you rest, you prosper, etc., right? Do good, etc. You're operating with a certain amount of knowledge, accurate data about what's going on. You know what state the universe is in for the next 3 hours, for the next 3.5 days, for the next, 52 days, potentially, for the next 7 years, and for the rest of your life. As long as you maintain a certain amount of discipline and map things out accurately, right? Interesting. So you're out there with a certain amount of technical, practical, knowledge, right? But the thing is, there's additional knowledge to be gained. So you go out here, you're scientifically experimenting, right? Let's say you go to work, you prosper, you make it, it works good. Okay. And then during the day, you're out there operating prudently, scientifically, paying attention to the cycles of life that you're in, right? Every 3 hours, checking, okay, wait, all right, the tide's just peaked. Now it's a decreasing, now it's a negative, okay. So you're monitoring things, you're navigating, you're paying attention, right? And so you know what state the universe is in, you're constantly monitoring that, and you're operating in harmony with the cycles of life. So you're winning, right? And then here's what happens. So now, and this would generally be at, let's say, the end of the day, right? So you're reflecting and you're sort of looking at how things went, or you could do it right after whatever scientific experiment you've done. So look at, okay, that's what happened. And listen, another thing is try to rest or take it easy. It's usually when you're laying in bed and you're thinking about the day and you realize something that happened and you think, you don't even think so much. It's like it's being shown to you. Why? Because Emmanuel, God is with us. The Creator is with us and one with us, essentially. So he's, directly communicating to us, and the cosmic mind or God within, the holy breath, is communicating to you and also giving you wisdom, additional wisdom, even during the daytime while you're working wisely and winning, and even while you're laying in bed and dreaming even, okay? That's how good, the highest good, hallelujah, right? Okay, so look. So you get additional wisdom and real, actual, accurate, true working knowledge and insight into how life works by scientifically experimenting and then analyzing the data from your scientific experiment. Exactly. Looking at what happened in the details, and then more of the details of how life, the world, the universe, and how it's cyclical works exactly. This gives you the ability to make additionally good things work exactly. See, this is why this is important, because you're gaining additional knowledge and insight into how everything works. And that enables you to gradually make everything work, even things that are truly great, right? So here's the thing now. Look, it goes on, because what'll happen is you will be, and this is really interesting, one should not try to force this process either. Usually, the best revelations and additional wisdom and knowledge and insight, it's usually while you're in a very calm state, and you're laying in bed and just thinking, you're sort of reflecting on the day, and something becomes clear to you, and you notice, oh yeah, that happened. Why did that happen? Oh yeah, that was at that time, that was in that daily period, that was in that, in those life cycles, and that's what they are said to be like, that's what it's described to be like, and that's exactly why that happened at exactly that time when it was the time for that. So you gain real wisdom, and you see. Or, let's say you go out and you have an objective that's legitimate, and it has to be in accordance with and like in harmony with the cycles of life that you're in, because if it isn't, if it's not the time for this thing, it's not really going to work very good. Whereas there's a time and a place for every thing on earth and under heaven, okay? Like, everything is divinely, perfectly predestined, and that's how it goes, and it's timed right, okay? Just get in synchronicity with that, and it's simple, and I'm showing you how, and this is crucial. If you do this, you will benefit and prosper mega, right? Mega good, okay? So here's the thing. Now, here's where it becomes really interesting. Look, okay, like, I'll use the example of a man who is standing on a beach. There's a boat, and there's an island. You can see it. He has to go out and get to that island and then return to the beach, okay? So he will know, he has data, he has a tide chart that tells him 100% that, yep, the tide is going out at this time. Okay. So what he does is he launches his boat, puts it in the water on the beach, gets carried out safely by the water, doesn't even have to row, just gets carried out there safely, lands on the beach at the island, has a great day there, hallelujah, and then the tide is going in again toward land, so he then gets in his boat, and he's carried to shore again safely at the beach, right? And he knows, and he knows exactly, what time it is for what things. He does the right things at the right times, and it all works perfectly. Okay, whereas another person might be there and might get, who knows, maybe that tide went out and it didn't, and he had to row, and no. Have an overview, right? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. To him be the praise. Wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all they getting, get understanding. Okay. The beginning of wisdom is a fear of God. Amen. Right? And in the beginning, the Creator geometrized too. So here's the thing. You've got this life, and this divine human life experience is perfect. It's actually perfect. It is the best and the very best thing there can be, is the way it is right now, especially as a human being. You're the crown of creation, right? This life and the opportunity and the journey, what you will be divinely instructed with, it's a beautiful journey. Life is beautiful, especially and absolutely imperatively. This is a must. As a, let's say, aspiring master of your life and your destiny, you have to become a master of your life and your destiny. It's a must. because that way you really get the maximum benefit of this existence, this divine blessing of life as a human being, whether male or female, creating the image of God and after his own likeness. So that's exactly what we're doing, and you should do the same. And if you're watching this, you are on the right path, and you're getting introduction and like basic schooling now in the most important discipline and practice of self-mastery. Why is it so important? Because we can actually foresee the future. I can see the future ahead of time. I know what is coming. I know what is coming is good for, what it's not good for, and I can make the future a certain way and make it good and keep it good, right? Maintain standard, health, wealth, security, overall good state of existence, right? Hallelujah, right? That's how it works. You have to learn this. You have to do this. This is absolutely imperative. This is for all human beings. Because you see, everything in life is been made with divine order, and it's very good. And that's how it's supposed to be, and that's how it's gonna be. You just have to put in a little bit of work and wise, scientific operation and motivation, and have some good guidance. And the thing is, this is why I make these videos, this is why I share this, because see, you will get this knowledge from books and from different human beings, hopefully. Yet generally, this is something that is like an ancient discipline that is the most important discipline on the way, of course. And this is something that really has to be picked up and wisely practiced, because it's really important. See, why is it so important? Because a master is somebody who is actively, successfully mastering their life and destiny. And also, you see, as a master of your life and your destiny, you live in absolute health, wealth, and safety and security, and with the maximum amount of divine blessings that you can imagine, and even better. And it keeps getting better and better. Versus, instead of, apart from, totally separately, and compared to, right, like in absolute stark contrast to the, this sort of a state of human existence that is sort of brand marked, or that has kind of the problematic elements of what could be classified as varying degrees or different levels of knowledge and wisdom, or even potentially lack of knowledge to some degree. And that's a problem, because all the problems in the world and in God's universe are mostly a result of, first of all, disobedience to the law, ignorance of the law, and lack of knowledge, or insufficient wisdom. Now, obviously, listen, like I've been saying, and this is important to comprehend, and it's true, I've experienced this, is that, you see, it's almost like you go through basic training, you get technical, you get a certain amount of, a certain amount of equipment and technical, tactical knowledge and whatever it is. But then you go out in the field and you operate successfully with that, and you win and you win and you win, and then you really know how it works. So you can get knowledge and wisdom from holy books, the Holy Torah, the Holy Bible, of course, but you also have to go out into the field and successfully operate. You got to have the theoretical knowledge and the theory, right? The right theoretical knowledge, and then the practical application of wisdom, a scientific operation, and operate successfully and win, right? And then you really know how it works. Because how do I know this? I know that right now because the data, the scientific data tells me this, and because I've done this before, or I have done similar things before, and I know how this works, and I know what's going to happen, and I know what will happen if I do this or I do this, and therefore I know how to make the right thing happen. So this is how it's got to be with you. You've got to be able to master your life and your destiny. Now the thing is, it's a very interesting thing, because it's not as simple as what I'm saying. nor is it as simple as what's written in any holy book. What I'm saying is that there's like a certain amount of wisdom that your parents and even the holy ones and scribes and the righteous, double honors and all that have recorded in the holy scrolls, the holy Bible, the holy Torah, right? And the wise men of old, rest in peace, and whoever and etc. Like, there's a certain amount of wisdom and practical and technical. So there's like the technical instructions in the classroom, and then there's the field work, the successful, the safe, the prosperous field work. Okay, and the thing is that, see, the real wisdom and the real working knowledge of life is gained by safely, let's say, scientifically experimenting and operating successfully out there. Because I can instruct you, I can give you these books, not a whole lot, actually a very light read, very good and essential. You can read this and know this, right? It's like knowing, okay, the moon is going to be full in one day. Okay, and then I go out there and all the wolves are howling and everybody's like up and active. It's like, oh yeah, so I know the moon is full, but these people, now I know why everything is like this, because, so there's more activity because of the increase, the positive increase, etc. Like, you got to get the practical experience in the field, and there will come massive true wisdom with that. Because, see, I can have basic wisdom, right? Things that I know that are true, and then having made it work and like having victory upon victory, right? Miracles upon miracles happen, then you really know how it works. So here's the thing though, it goes on because you gain additional wisdom and knowledge. Even while you're laying in bed dreaming, the Creator has given you wisdom and more wisdom. Yeah? So, like, we got to be masters of our lives and our destinies, our good divine destiny. Okay, and what we have to do is this. Look, see, let's say when you operate, okay, you're just living your legit life. When you operate, you have to go out there and win, okay? And, God is with us, right? Victory upon victories, right? It's what we've got. We've got this. But the thing is, you see, what happens is even more will be revealed to you. You will gain more wisdom. So, like, how do I explain this? For example, I'm walking, and I realize all of a sudden I realize that, wait a minute, where does it come from? All the wealth in the world, and not of it, right? Where does it even come from? It comes from the same cosmic source that everything comes from. It comes from the fact that there's a daily period of the cycles of life where at that moment, because of the daily periods of the cycles of life and the cycles of life that person was in, this person created this. And this has a certain value to others because of what was put into that. But that all came from a divine source, etc. So how do I acquire this now? Oh, using the same resource and the source through the cycles of life. Like, look. What I'm talking about here is gaining like the ultimate knowledge and wisdom and insight into how creation works. And this goes on and on. Yet generally, there's sort of a pattern of it. You got to go out, scientifically experiment, right? Operate, win, and then analyze the data of what happened. And this usually happens when you're laying in bed, reflecting, or in a very calm state, not even trying to necessarily, but you notice something that happened. And then you notice why it happened and document that, or sort of pay attention to that, keep like a journal, okay? And here's the thing then. It goes on where now what happens is we start to gain like massive amounts of insight, true working knowledge, and real, true, intelligent, and legitimate and accurate, like scientific data and insight and knowledge and working knowledge of how life and everything in the universe works more and more. This gets so interesting now because here I can tell you And here's the thing. So this is where it's really, really interesting, because it's like more wisdom is being revealed. The Creator is showing you how His creation works even more and more. And it's just so interesting. This is where it's at, right? So like, for example, things will happen so first of all, you know what's supposed to happen at what times based on the cycles of life that you're in and monitoring them. Okay. So then something happens. And then you think, but then you realize, no, that's because of the life cycles that we're in right now. That's why that is like it is right now. And there's no need to either to like alter or push. Rather, just wait a minute. And also, we got to learn to be, and this is really crucial, is to be like, to have more inner calm and wise, calm, divine receptivity to divine guidance and instruction. So in a situation, just take a deep breath and wait a minute, and then the Creator communicates to you, and you know, aha, right, that's how to do it. Oh, that's how this is going to work. I see. Thank you very much. Right? Because, so like, something will happen and you look at it and go, no, wait, that was supposed to be different. No, wait a minute. The reason why that's like that is because of the life cycles you're in. So you cannot expect it to be different. If you push when there's no pushing going on, like it's like trying to sail your boat fast when there's no wind versus sailing your boat fast when there's wind. You don't try to sail fast when there's almost no wind. You sail fast when there's a lot of wind. Seems and sounds simple, yet it's totally true. The thing is that what I'm getting at here is that everything is how it is right now. Based on the life cycles that you're in, you can see why everything is how it is, and also know what the right and the safest and the best way to move forward is. And this is highly important. We have to do this on a daily basis because, look, there may be things on the horizon that you have to manage. Okay, career, whatever, personal health, business life, prosperity, all those things. You've got all the good things. You have to manage these things. So the thing is, what I'm saying is that, first of all, everything is how it is right now, according to and based on the perfect universal order and life cycles that you're in. Now, and here's where the thing is about mapping. Here's the thing about mapping. It's so important that we map this stuff out. We have to make maps. You have to have a calendar. You have to know when is the next. You got to know what life cycles you're in. You have to. Because if you don't, it's like, it could still work. And that's what most humans actually have. Most humans do not actively practice self-mastery with, let's say, the exact same and the most accurate system like we do. Not a lot, apparently. Hopefully it'll be more in everybody, potentially. But the thing is, most people go through life with varying degrees or levels of accurate, actual, like truly cognizant, savvy and comprehension of and cooperation with and therefore ultimate tactical advantage through like knowledge and working knowledge of the life cycles. So, and it can still work out. There's a lot of dangers and unnecessary dangers and problems and perils that can, first of all be avoided. First of all, actually even preemptively identified and then avoided. So what I'm saying to you right now, the viewer, is that actually, and this is true, the potential for your life to be perfect is already there. It was divinely given. Because the highest good, the Creator, He created, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth and He geometrized everything. And the really, really good news, everybody, the really, really good news is that the potential, even the real possibility for your life to be absolutely perfect is already there. It only hinges upon that you put in a little bit of, let's say, wise work. And how does that work? It's just that you go and you pay a little bit of attention to how life works. It works cyclically, monitor the life cycles, and operate in harmony with them. And so practically, right, this is as follows, okay? And, we would have to be at the desk to show you this. I'm out in the field here, thank God, because I have to be outside, right, in nature. So you have to know this, all right? And I'm sharing this with you because I know this is true. This was shown to me from a divine source, right? And this is truly golden. It's like eternal life insurance is that, see, first of all, right, all these things in life, health, wealth, amenities, whatever good things, right, that are divinely commanded, clean, safe, good houses, health, wealth, riches, all these good things, right, that we can have. All these things, even the highest amount of wealth you can imagine, right, we can get that if we have to. Yet, all of this comes from a certain divine source. And it is made by man, so to say, from God's source. Okay. Now, this is the key to being able to also have permanent, let's say, health, wealth, and security, and, like eternal life insured, and like divinely guided and protected good life all the time, and health and wealth all the time. Okay. It's because of knowing how it actually works. So the detail of this is this. The detail of this is the following. For example, would it be practical for you to have, $10,000 right now? Yeah, it would be great. I could pay off this, I could pay off that, but then I would have to also think about taxes, I'd have to think about plus minus, give credit to whom credit is due, etc., be legit, use it for wise, legit things. So what I'm saying is, all the things that are important in your life, health and wealth and safety, security, and even above all of that and beyond all of that, and most importantly, God's blessings and wisdom and good things, right? This is all available, and it's always being given all the time. It's all there. We have to harness it. We have to reach for it and attain it, okay? So how do you do this? Well, the key is, and listen closely because this will benefit you, it's that divine providence is always giving. And divine providence is always giving systematically. Different packages of divine providence are always being given at different times. And these are all intelligible to us through the cycles of life. So what I'm saying is, for example, there's a time for scientific research in your life. There's a time when you will do scientific research and you will discover things that will lead to the maximum benefit of earth human life activity and God's creation, right? So you better be doing that scientific research at that time, because that's a time for that where God is going to give you that. And then when you've got it, hold on to it, retain it, document it, put it in a YouTube video like I am, and share it with others. And so you're actually, just like you're being divinely blessed and supplied with the maximum, highest valuable goods, both physical and immaterial, and you're even giving and you're sharing those even. It's like, I've got so much wealth that I can make you richer than rich, because I'm richer than richer than richer than rich, right? That's how this is like. So the thing is that because that's what the time is for, that's what you're doing, you're getting blessed. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? You comprehend the importance of this? So look, now here's the thing. How do we access all this health and wealth and all these good things? Well, first of all, you got it, like I said, like I've shown you now, you have to identify what life cycles you're in right now, look at what they're good for, be occupied with what they're good for, and you get automatically blessed. So like, okay, think about it this way. There is a time when if what you are doing is the right thing, then because that is the right time for that thing and you're doing that, you're getting the maximum blessings. You're like being divinely supported and just like you're getting like maximum providential support. And you may think, wait, and then later you realize, no, that's right. I figured this out. I realized that I did that and it worked and I got big time health, wealth increase and riches and all that. In order to use these things for good, serve God and our fellow human beings, right? Responsibly, legitimately, right? So wisdom is a principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. With all the getting, get understanding. And there's a time when that wisdom is given, specially. And when you get it, and we got it, right? You document it and you hold on to it, put it on paper, put this idea on paper, write this stuff down, because if you start paying attention to that, it's like the Creator is showing you something and showing you and going, look, son, I see what's going on. Here's how this works. If you pay attention to this and you write this in your freaking calendar and you pay attention and you do this at this time, you're going to get this. And not that. No, don't worry about that. You're going to get this. This is going to happen. You're going to get like big, you're going to be making bank. You're going to be getting all these good things, just good things, right? So like, this is why we got to document stuff. We're going to document and write things. We got to be marking down. We got to be zakar. We got to be male. As male men of God, as the males of Israel, you got to document, you got to mark. Burn, clean, ital, kosher, spliffs, right? Safely, moderately. Mark paper with the pen, with the pencil, with the calligraphy pen. Whatever it is, mark it in your tablet. I don't know. Shout it into your voice recorder somewhere safely. Whatever you got to do, though, mark it down, retain it, mark it, make your mark wisely on something in your life so that you remember whatever good things it is that you got to hold on to, because God gave them to you and they're for your good if you use them, okay? That's how this works. So you got to mark this stuff down. That's what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm actually like, it's like I'm marking stuff down. I'm giving data. I'm putting data into a format that's from what I've got from God, sharing it with others because it's so good. You see, here's the thing though. If and when, right, you realize something that's true, and then you use wisdom to analyze it, you have a divine revelation and you use wisdom to double check it and make sure it's legit. Well, you're on the right path because now you really know that that's true. So then you take that data and that knowledge and you go out in the field with it and you try something safely and it works. And wow, you just gained an additional victory. You know how this works. And now you know more of how it works, to the point where you know how everything in life works, to where you can make anything work in life. But it has to be legit because you reap what you sow. So here's the thing. Now, that having been said, right, there are so many details of how life works in addition to what we, let's say, theoretically know from books and divine sources and resources. There's the real working knowledge and the actual experience and high life experience from victory in the field of life, right? And that, if you work with that, you really win. So, for example now, there may be something you are working on or seeking to attain or to change in your life because, hey, your life has to be healthy, wealthy, blessed. It's got to be good, right? Really good. And that's how it's supposed to be, and that's how it's going to be. What you have to do is you have to very simply be systematic in your life. And this does not hinge upon anything of the physical world, nor does it hinge upon this amount of money or that amount of money. I'm talking about being able to work with and working from a divine resource that exists eternally and that is constantly being divinely provided. Shall I explain exactly how this works? Listen, dear viewers. So, first of all, the key is this. Listen, what's going on is that any one of us human beings at any given point in time is specifically in 9 different cycles of life that are most relevant. We covered these in the video. So what's going on is that based on the life cycles that you are in right now, there's like a certain type of, there are certain types of things that the Creator is providing, you with right now. It's almost like, it's like money is just falling out. It's like it's raining $100 bills out of the sky. And okay, all right. I'll explain it like this. And this shouldn't be, don't think that I'm saying that money is the most important thing. What I'm saying though, I'm using an object example to explain what I'm talking about. And it's true. And you will see that it's true if you honestly work with this, like I say. Look, it's almost like this. It's raining money out of the sky. Legitimate, true, and legal tender, right? True money, or like gold. Okay, it's raining gold dust out of the sky from heaven. Okay, but this cannot be seen with the naked eye. And there's a time when it rains this gold dust out of the sky so that any person anywhere can just hold out a cup, and this freaking cup is going to be filled with like gold dust, this much or this much, a kilo, 2 kilos, and if you hold out a freaking tub or whatever, or a bowl, it's going to fill up, right? Based on however much wise work you put in, how much you wisely sow, you will really goodly reap, okay? So it's like that. So it's like it's raining invisible gold dust out of the sky. There are certain times when it does this, and there are certain times when it doesn't do this. And all of a sudden, you know what time it does this. Yet, the average person, and actually none of us can see this with the naked eye necessarily, immediately, but upon further examination, becomes visible. Oh, I see that person is healthy and wealthy and rich, super rich. Oh, right, I see that. Look at what he's wearing. That's why. Look at the designer gear, the blessings, the wisdom. I hear it, I recognize it because I have wisdom. I can hear that's true wisdom, etc., 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 right? So it's raining gold dust out of the sky. There are times when it does it, and there's times when it doesn't do it. It can't be seen with the naked eye, so the average person is not going to see it when it's there. But some will know and all of us know instinctively and deep within. So then the person who knows, who's a magi, a seer, goes and holds out his cup for a minute, and all of a sudden he's got like 3 inches of gold dust, takes that home, dumps that on the table and compacts it, and he's got like $500 to $1,000 worth of gold out of the middle of nowhere. And then takes that, cashes that in legitimately, uses that cash for legitimate things, buys himself a place, blah, 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 all the good things in life, right? So what's going on is that divine providence is giving things at certain times. So like, okay, you're not going to go and invest in the stock market when it's not the time to invest in the stock market, because then you're losing your money. You're going to invest in the stock market when it's time to invest in the stock market, and then what's going to happen? Out of those $100 or whatever it is, you're going to gain 1,000, 10,000, and if you keep working like that, you're going to get $1 billion out of there. I know how to do it. The thing is, I have more important things to do. Imagine that. Working with the real resource here. The real wealth. This is the real wealth here. Wisdom is a real thing over all of those other things. More valuable than all of that other stuff. So here's the thing, right? You have got something that is classified as and that is generally known as wisdom. Generally known as wisdom. That's an overstatement. Generally known as wisdom. I like that. That's correct, though. The thing is, you work wisely and you win and you gain. And moreover, you work wisely, self-disciplined, as a master of your life and your destiny, you permanently gain and you win whatever good things, good moderation. You don't gain too much or too little. You permanently win, you're permanently healthy, you're permanently wealthy. Can you imagine that? Listen, there are reports of billion-dollar companies going out of business. There are reports of rich people who had businesses for many years that made millions and billions, and all of a sudden, how did that happen? Gee, what if we could know how that happened before that happened so we could avoid it in the first place? And that's exactly what I'm here to do. Listen, it's as simple as this, folks. As a master of your life and your destiny, and now listen, this part of the presentation, thank God, this part of the presentation is about just looking at some of the benefits. I'm showing you some of the benefits, the real benefits and blessings of living as a master of your life and your destiny, and just some of the things that we can accomplish with this, just so you get a good idea of this and why it's worth the effort. Look, as a master of your life and your destiny, right? You have certain benefits. You have certain benefits. And one of these benefits is that your life is so very good at all times that your idea of the best that it could be is always being improved more than you ever thought was so like it just keeps getting better and better. Now, moreover though, I just realized too that I'm at the tip of the spear here. I'm like the cutting edge of wise scientific research and revelation, actually, because see, how many people are occupied with this day in, day out? Like, you got scientists researching things. A lot of that stuff is from, I don't know, just like how many of you who are scientists, how many of you who are interested in science know how to master your life and your destiny, who know of a certainty